Crawford and Canelo. I'm pretty sure
Shakur and Tank?
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope, but
Shakur Stevenson has distanced himself from Terence Crawford, reminding him that he is more than capable of securing a fight on his own terms. With his exceptional fighting style, Shakur Stevenson has become the center of attention, with many speculating about his next opponent. In discussing this, Oscar De La Hoya has praised Shakur's unique style, highlighting what makes him such a difficult fighter to beat. De La Hoya described Shakur's approach as having a complex pattern that's hard to decipher, which he views as a major advantage for Stevenson, leaving opponents puzzled about how to defeat him.
Obviously, I'm a fighter at heart always, and I know styles, and I know this and that. Shakur's one hard man to beat, but not impossible, right? I mean, no, it's not impossible. His style is very difficult.
While Shakur Stevenson recently earned a win over Josh Padley, surprising many, Oscar De La Hoya believes there are some flaws to be seen in his performance. Reflecting on Shakur's fight with Padley, De La Hoya acknowledged that while Stevenson is a tough fighter to beat, it's not impossible to overcome him. He pointed out that Shakur was hit more than expected by Josh Padley during that fight. Oscar went on to reveal that Shakur's hand injury was the reason behind this, explaining that it likely contributed to him being hit more than expected during the fight.
Obviously, this Padley guy he fought gave him a little, little trouble here and there, I mean, maybe Shakur got hit a little more than he was expected to get hit, right? Because Padley came in just guns blazing.
Right.
And then Shakur has a little trouble with his hands. I saw him shake his right hand, I believe it was.
Yes, it was.
In what round? Some round. I'm not sure what it was.
Like
but
third, I think it was.
Yeah.
Despite recognizing a flaw in Shakur's fighting style due to his hand injury, Oscar still praised him as a true fighter. He acknowledged Shakur's distinctive fighting style, which has been evident throughout his career, and highlighted his unwavering confidence. Oscar emphasized that Shakur is ready to take on anyone, with a clear goal of fighting anyone who steps up. He also revealed that several big fights are lined up for Shakur this year, stressing that Stevenson isn't backing down from anyone. Whoever plans to face him, Shakur is determined to defeat them.
But Shakur's an amazing talent. But I think that the plans are to fight Tevin Farmer in Cancun in March, and then go after everybody.
Highlighting another highly discussed fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, Oscar De La Hoya shared his thoughts on this matchup, suggesting that it's not just a fight fans are eager to see, but one that the fighters themselves are also excited about. While he didn't provide specifics on when the fight might happen, he emphasized its significance. De La Hoya observed that the world of combat sports has become a business hub, where every fight is made with an eye on potential profit and loss. He also shared his thoughts on how boxing in particular has increasingly turned into a business-focused sport.
I mean, these are the types of fights that William Zepeda wants, is the Shakur Stevenson, the very best. I mean, that's the only way you're gonna look. Today's boxing is all about business,
Yeah.
and I don't like it, and I hate it, because a lot of fighters are outpricing themselves, and the big fights are not taking place.
Sharing his thoughts on the matchup, Oscar revealed that Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda might face off later this year. He praised Shakur, speculating that his mindset is now focused on achieving greatness, which is why he's ready to take on anyone, regardless of their stature. At the same time, Oscar commended William, noting that he also wants to fight Shakur, and is at a point in his career where he's seeking big, meaningful fights. He hinted that a potential showdown between the two would be a thrilling one for their fans.
I really feel that Shakur wants to be great, and he wants to fight the very best. And I think the same thing about William Zepeda. So that's going to be a fight down the road this year that we're going to see and we're going to make, and and it's going to be a great fight. I think William's willing to face anybody. He's in that moment of his career where he's just willing to face anybody.
Amidst this, William Zepeda's trainer Jay Najjar, also known as Panda, shared some surprising news with boxing fans. He revealed to Jay Smooth at Mill City Boxing that William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson were actually scheduled to fight earlier in Saudi Arabia, shortly after Stevenson's win against Josh Padley. However, it was suggested that the fight was being arranged too soon. Najjar then pointed out that after postponing the bout, they are now planning for it to take place on May 4th as part of the Canelo undercard.
Shakur won the last fight. We were supposed to fight Saudi Arabia May 4th. Somebody said it was too soon. You know, so...
May 4th?
Yeah, on the Canelo undercard.
Wow. Wow.
So,
breaking news.
The Canelo Crawford undercard is generating massive hype, with boxing fans eagerly speculating about the best matchups. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford, who is set to fight Canelo Alvarez, is not only preparing at his best, but also taking time for interviews. In a recent interview, Crawford shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis being added to his undercard. He had high praise for Shakur, stating that if such a fight were to be made under their card, it would be an exciting and dope one to watch.
I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. It should be crazy. You know, Crawford and Canelo. I'm pretty sure.
Shakur and Tank.
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope. But you know,
I think that's the day the sports world stops, right?
Yeah.
If we get a super card of that caliber.
While fans are eager to see an exciting fight card with the best matchups, no official fight announcements have been made yet. However, Terence Crawford has been very vocal in the media, expressing his desire to see a potential showdown between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson on the undercard of his September fight against Canelo in Las Vegas. At the same time, Crawford has also criticized Gervonta Davis, claiming that his arrogant attitude could prevent him from being a part of the undercard for his highly anticipated bout with Canelo. He said, "If Tank wasn't so arrogant as to not be on a Crawford undercard, that would be great. I don't see Tank in the background of any fighter because I would see it as the Tank show. So, I don't know, but it should be a good preliminary card." Terence Crawford has been praising the idea of Shakur Stevenson fighting on the undercard of his fight with Canelo, but to many people's surprise, Stevenson was not pleased with this suggestion. He openly rejected the idea of fighting on such a card, highlighting his unique position in boxing. On social media, Stevenson acknowledged his respect for Crawford, but emphasized that he wouldn't be interested in a fight on the Canelo Crawford undercard. Instead, Stevenson stressed his own stature as a boxer, expressing his desire to headline his own events rather than being part of someone else's card. He said, "I love you, buddy, but no. I think my cousin and I fought the biggest fight in the sport. The PPV numbers are gonna be amazing. Look what I'm saying. And it's not a knock on my colleague. I just believe in myself. For me, he's the best, and after he beats Canelo, there will be no debate." It is true that so far, Gervonta "Tank" Davis has not entered into formal negotiations for a showdown with Shakur, leaving boxing fans speculating as to whether this eagerly anticipated clash could ever come to fruition. For now, the champion's path seems to be heading in another direction. According to the latest reports, Davis's next opponent would be Lamont Roach Jr., which would mark a rematch of their last fight. On the other hand, there have also been rumors and approaches about a possible fight against Jake Paul. Sources reveal that if Gervonta had defeated Lamont, this fight would have taken place. Amid the ongoing discussions about potential fights on the undercard, a potential matchup between Keyshawn Davis and either Gervonta "Tank" Davis or Stevenson has also been called into question. Keyshawn Davis has recently shared his thoughts on these potential bouts. While a rematch between Lamont Roach and Tank Davis is already scheduled and reports of a fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are circulating, Keyshawn believes he is the top contender that Tank should face. He emphasized that his fighting style is completely unique and that whether it's Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis, both would ultimately fall short in a fight against him.
I mean, I feel like that will work.
Unless he sees you.
Yeah, that shit could work, but he just don't need to. He just need to fight me. I feel like I'm just the only fighter in this weight division that will probably like just
walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh hell nah, he can't fight Tank. Whatever. I feel like I'll fuck that fight up. Not even gonna lie.
Not even for
I feel like if either one of them fight me, I feel like
Curtains.
It's just styles make fights, you know?
Between Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis maintains a good relationship with Shakur. In a recent podcast, he shared his thoughts on why their relationship is solid, pointing out the career differences, particularly in terms of weight. He explained that now that he's a world champion, things are different. While Keyshawn mentioned that he's open to fighting Shakur at 135 pounds, he made it clear that he has no desire to fight him at this stage. Moving to 135 and fighting Shakur is simply not his goal right now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I base my second off, like, relationship off Shakur, because I really do feel like Shakur is potentially number one when I go to 140. You understand what I'm saying? Like, shit, he was number one. But like this, I feel like he was number one before I was even in these talks. Put like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a world champ now, so it's different. But I feel like Shakur is always my number one for 135, for sure.
I saw the face-off. You said you'll never fight him.
Nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, just go up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to be at 35 for long.
Another fighter eager to step in against Shakur Stevenson has been Joe Cordina. He reflected on his thoughts about being considered as a last-minute replacement when Shakur fought Josh Taylor. Revealing the details, Cordina mentioned that he received a call and was eager to take the fight, but his promoter informed him that his name wasn't being mentioned by anyone. He asserted that, had he been selected, regardless of the preparation time, he would have undoubtedly come out victorious.
So, I had a phone call before it got out. And I said they would just get me that fight. But obviously, for me to step in last minute, it's going to have to be a good dojo, get me? Because I wasn't sparring or anything like that, because I don't spar unless I'm in a fight camp or whatever. If I do, it'll be something light. So yeah, I was like, okay, no problem. But then when I spoke to Spencer and I said, was my name mentioned? He was like, Eddie didn't mention you at one bit. So I know, yeah, I probably wouldn't have got a mention.
Joe Cordina was originally scheduled to fight Shakur Stevenson, but the bout was pulled at the last minute due to a hand injury Stevenson sustained. Joe expressed that the right thing for Shakur to do would have been to reschedule the fight once he had recovered. He mentioned that he was informed the fight would be rescheduled, but Stevenson never followed through with him, which Cordina sees as a mistake on Shakur's part. Instead, he criticized Shakur for taking other fights and completely ignoring him. Despite the situation, Joe expressed no regret, pointing out that no one can be forced to step into the ring.
Then he breaks his hand, no problem. The sensible thing to do is just reschedule that fight. So when he was, and that's what I was told, when he's okay, then we'll reschedule it. And then obviously that never happened. When he was able to punch, he's making fights with Schofield and whatever. And yeah, but what can you do? You can't force someone to jump in a ring and fight. And
expressing his frustration, Joe blasted Shakur Stevenson for not fighting him. He pointed out that despite calling him out, Shakur chose to fight someone else, which Joe found completely unacceptable. While he respects Shakur as a talented fighter, he deemed Shakur's decision to ignore him as nonsense. Joe emphasized that there's a certain pattern to follow in the sport, and when a fight is already lined up with someone, you shouldn't start negotiating to fight someone else.
I think I'm wrong. He's talented, and I'm a boxing fan. But at the same time, he called me out once, and then I accepted. Then we're fighting again. But then he decided to fight someone else back then. Then we lined up the fight. The fight was done. So why are you going to go back into negotiations with someone when there's all the fights already done, the purse is already done? Why? So there's a pattern there. You get me?
Yeah.
Well, apart from, there's only, as an outsider looking in, the first initial thought is he's a shithouse. But yeah, it is what it is.
Among those willing to fight Shakur Stevenson is Jadier Herrera, who openly stated that he is ready to face Stevenson, regardless of what the public has to say. Herrera made it clear that there is no sense of brotherhood between him and Shakur, and instead he sent a direct message to Stevenson, requesting that he send the contract. "I'm waiting for you," Herrera said, firmly signaling that he's ready for the challenge. He added that he's not concerned with outside opinions, and is fully focused on stepping into the ring with Stevenson whenever the opportunity arises.
This is not my brother. This is not my family. This is another people, you know what I'm saying? This is send me. You have ball, I have ball. I don't get a fight. Send me a contract, let's go to fight. You know, let's go to fight.
Among the growing list of people eager to fight Shakur Stevenson, fight fans are particularly eager to see him square off against Tank Davis. Kermel Moton recently shared his thoughts on the contrasting styles of two of boxing's top fighters, Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Reflecting on his own experience sparring with both fighters, Moton provided an insightful comparison of their approaches to the game. Here's what he had to say. "They're both completely different fighters. I feel like at the time, Tank wasn't really sitting down on his shots or fully using his power. When I was younger, his pace was more explosive. He'd move around, then explode with 1 or 2 shots. Shakur, on the other hand, is more constant. He's always in your face, whether he's punching or not. He's right there in front of you. As for me and Shakur, it was real work. We were really working. We went 6 4-minute rounds, and it was solid work." As negotiations for a potential fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis continue, trainer Andre Rozier shared his thoughts on how the matchup might play out. He praised the fighting styles of both Stevenson and Davis, but he made it clear that he would favor Tank, citing his experience in knocking out top opponents. Rozier sees this fight as a clash between Stevenson's raw talent and Davis's seasoned punching power, describing it as a spectacle of skill versus experience.
Well, I tell you like this, Shakur is a talented fighter. Tank, that's like my ride and die. I like guys that get people in trouble and knock them out. So I'm always riding with Tank. It will be a spectacular bout. I mean, you have the age-old puncher versus boxer at its best.
Speculating on the potential fight, Andre pointed out that if Tank Davis allows Shakur Stevenson to get too far ahead, he might face difficulty catching up. He also mentioned that if Shakur sticks to his game plan and remains composed without fading, he could have a chance to win. However, Rozier also warned of the threat Shakur would face if he fails to execute his strategy, noting that it would only take 1 punch from Tank to turn the fight around and potentially knock him out, making Davis the winner. Rozier expressed his excitement to watch the matchup, considering it a 50-50 fight, but he leaned strongly towards Tank as the favorite.
Now, if Tank allows Shakur to get ahead too far, then he might not be able to catch up to him. On the flip side of that, if Tank gets in there and Shakur makes a mistake, it only takes one for the lights to be out. So I'm waiting to see it. I want to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. It's another 50-50, but you know, I'm Tank all the way.
Well, that wraps up today's deep dive into the world of Shakur Stevenson and his potential matchups. From the buzz around his potential fights with Gervonta Davis to his unique style that continues to make waves in the boxing world, it's clear that Shakur is here to stay. Whether it's sparking debate with other top fighters or showcasing his undeniable talent, he's one of the most exciting boxers to watch. What do you think about his future? Would you love to see him face Tank Davis or someone else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.